Hello and good evening, and
Hey,
welcome
hey,
to
hey,
the truth behind
behind
the
the
truth.
truth.
Yes,
Woo!
indeed.
Beginning to look a lot like
Christmas.
Christmas.
Yes, it is. You know,
Okay,
I,
yes,
I,
it is.
I started with my hat last week, y'all. So I had to get my hat on. I had to start. If people wasn't in the group, they're gonna look at me and say, "Father Christmas, somebody," in the group. I started with mine already. They talk about me at work. You got to wear that hat every day. I say, absolutely.
Hey, Parnell, how you
Hey,
doing?
Hey,
Parnell.
all right, y'all. Good to see you.
You too,
Yeah.
definitely. I know you on the. I know you busy on the way to the parties and
Yeah.
that's all right. Hey, next year you got to make sure that we on the same guest list now.
Okay.
I hope you're gonna get you do a Where in the Hell is Parnell tonight, maybe from Shirley. Get pull somebody aside.
I hope so.
Yeah, pull somebody aside and get them give them a little interview. True,
I will try.
That definitely. Well, thank you for that, sir. Thank you for that, sir. D, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. I can't complain. It's been a blessed week.
Good to see you back this week. Talking and speaking words of exhortation.
Yes. How have you guys been this week?
Good, not bad at all.
It's been kind of crazy though lately. This new job and everything going on, and it's just been the hours been kind of funny. But other than that, though, I've been fine. But hey, Sandy, how you doing? And hey, Cousin Tawana.
Oh, sure. Try to start a show without me.
Listen,
I don't know how
that started with you. You got here.
Well, that's racist.
So real quick, when we go to the personal accolades, P, so how's the events been? I know we told the audience that you were out in different the actors world out in LA that we're all should be a part of, but we won't talk about that right now. But how's everything been?
Everything has been good. I caught a matinee performance of Lines in the Dust.
Okay.
This afternoon, and that was just like it was based on the real story of the black woman who lied about her address to get her child into a better school.
Oh yeah.
So it was kind of looking at that, and it's like, yes, that's a crime. So, but with the real crime is that parents feel like they have to do such a thing to get their children into a good school. That's the real crime. Yeah.
So
and now
go ahead. I'm sorry.
And now I'm getting ready to go to the listening party for Cheryl Lee Ralph and B Slade. They did a Christmas album last year, so they're promoting it, again this year and having a little something. And I was like, hey, what are you doing? Can you come? And I was like, oh okay.
Hey, some of those great opportunities happen on the fly. You just never know who will be there, whatever connection may happen.
Yeah.
That's
so
good.
Hopefully the next one I'll have enough advance notice that I can try to get our team to be there, so we can all okay, we're gonna record this show or do an encore performance so that we can all show up at these events.
Exactly. By all means, so we'll definitely look for this. 24 is going to be on. I'm telling you, because this is the last year that we're going to be doing virtual. We're going to be in the studio by the end of 24. Somebody going to pick us up. All right, I'm putting that in the universe. So definitely be honest. That's good. I'm glad to hear all of those things are going. Sandy, how are you today?
I'm fine. That's great about Parnell, what you're saying. So what's the point of the play? Is the whole play about that she goes to jail for lying about the address, or?
No, they don't go that far. It starts off where these two women meet at an open house, and one is actually really well to do and the other one is faking it. But they kind of find out that the mom has been lying about her profession and where she lives. And because they're investigating the school fraud of parents who are lying about where they live to get their kids into a better school.
What's the name of this?
It's Lines in the Dust.
Oh, I thought it was the George Santos story.
You know what I stand by. That's the next version. That's the next version. Lie your way through life. Okay.
Why wouldn't you lie to get your kid into a better school? I mean, it's sad that you have to, but what parent doesn't want the best for their kid?
Exactly.
Why should that be some sort of crime when we got all these Republicans trying to rewrite history and gerrymandering and stuff like that? It's heinous. So it's interesting. I hope it does well, and I hope she lies some more and gets to other places.
Well, I have to confess. Okay, now I'm sitting. Okay, Mama, I know I paid homage to you last week in birthday, but I experienced that same situation. It wasn't quite a lie, okay, because the school where my district where I was set up growing up, the school I had to go to was not in the best district, but my area was in where they what is the district lines that they said certain, in certain communities. So mine was set in an area called Westland, but my school system was in an area called Inkster. But I Westland school system because it was extremely well on the other side of town. So what I did, I ended up in Inkster for a short period of time, and then I ended up graduating from Romulus High School, which is there. But I had to use somebody else's address in Romulus to be able to school. But fortunately, they were a friend of our family, so it wasn't just that. And then the person that we used actually was my growing up sitter as a child, so it kind of worked out okay. So she just became a regular aunt. But yeah, I do understand how that happens. I mean,
she was extended family. That's all.
Extended family. There you go. Exactly. All right. Well, let's do our little toast to our audience today. I know everybody that had a cup. We want to welcome you again via your cup. If you have your mug, your truth behind the truth mug. Yes, baby. Darnell, you got to get your mug now.
Yes.
Where did my mug? Come on, mug. Show up.
I don't even have a mug. Yes, I'm not mug today. I'm glass today.
Yeah, okay.
But I will be having my mug soon.
You can order your mug at $15.99. Just say at the Truth Behind the Truth Show at Gmail. Just send your request in, and we'll get the mug out to you. Also, I would love you to participate in our giveaway, the mug contest. Send us 2 likes. 2 likes. That would be nice, right? 10 likes and shares, okay, to the same email address, and we will verify those. And of course, if they're legitimate, all right, then we will definitely send your mug out complimentary. So 2 parts of being able to get it. Want your support on either side. You can pay for support or work for support. Either one, okay. So the holidays are great. I mean, it's like, we started off the show today talking about that real briefly, and I'm Mr. Christmas, Father Christmas, Kid Christmas, whatever. I am so on the fact of this season. What I love about it so much is that the attitude of everybody, you know what I mean? For wherever they stand, they finally either pull their why you look like that?
I'm trying to hear I'm trying to hear this. What attitude?
Well,
some get better, some get worse.
The adjustments that they make. Okay, I'll put it that way. Between November 1st and January 12th. Okay, January 12th is like, I don't know what happened. Either the water changed, or whatever, but they go back to being themselves, this time. So that's one reason I love this time of year, because people do get a little bit more congenial. They seem a little bit more nice. So I think the spirit of the season, both celebrating Hanukkah as well as celebrating Christmas, the human side of the year kind of blends together, as well. So, and then I want to say Happy Hanukkah to our Jewish family, as well. It started the other night, so we want to celebrate that as well, along as part of this whole season. One of the quick things I'm going to shut my mouth. I wanted to pay homage real quick to the Jackson 5. I don't know if Charles Blaze is able to get that up. This has been, just want to speak about their Christmas album. This has been I think an icon in the Christmas music genre since they came out. This album came out in 1970, I believe, 72 or 74, one of them. But it is still one of the most played Christmas albums out there ever, and it's up there with with Bing Crosby and and Johnny Mathis and Nat King Cole and Mariah Carey. But this was a really good album by
1970.
1970. Okay, yeah, I remember when it came out. I was so excited. I bought that album, ran it, got some friends, and we just played it. Being a Jackson fan, of course. But I just want to play quick homage to them, as well as having a Christmas album that has passed through time. That's like 50 years ago. That this album, occurred.
Do anybody got a favorite Christmas album?
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. That was my next point. You took the words out of my mouth. Do you have a favorite one? You started.
Whoever go first.
Do you have one for Parnell?
Well, I did like the Handel Soulful. Was it Soulful Christmas? Is that the one that was? Where they did a soulful version of Handel's Messiah. I need to listen to that. It's been a while, but I wore that out.
Okay.
I gotta look into that one.
Good one. Darnell.
So mine is funny because mine is the James Brown Funky Christmas. That's one of my favorite
Okay.
Christmas albums because I can play it all day long.
Wow.
Merry Christmas. Hey. Ow, Merry Christmas.
I like the Charlie Brown soundtrack. I've been playing that.
The Carly, yeah.
Parnell, that sounds like James Brown coming down a chimney and landing on a tree. JP and this Jackson Christmas album, one of the songs on it.
Oh yeah, from your father-in-law. Yes, absolutely.
Someday at Christmas, written by Ron Miller. A lot of people think Stevie Wonder wrote it, but he did not.
You know, I mean, out of all of the versions of so many people saying, you hear me say, I love Michael Jackson's version of that. I just, Stevie's is great now, but I just something about, to me, the way Michael Jackson sung that, I really, really think that it was such a great,
that Temptation.
Which song?
Beat it.
Someday at Christmas.
Someday at Christmas.
Someday at
Someday at Christmas.
Right.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and the words to that, it's such a powerful song, real honestly.
Oh, yeah.
People will take pause and really listen to the words.
Men won't be boys playing with guns like
guns,
right? With boys.
Exactly. Yeah. Very, very good. I think your father-in-law, I mean, really, he had, a good humanitarian, effort when he wrote that, and kind of stepping into the hearts and minds of people. If they would just simply pay attention to that, they would change, very simply in that song, Yeah. By all means. So
what is yours, Sandy?
I'm sorry?
What is yours, Sandy?
What's your favorite holiday song?
I'm going to stick with Ron Miller. My father-in-law wrote he wrote almost all the songs on Stevie Wonder's Christmas album.
Okay.
And so I look forward to this time of year when the royalties come in.
Good.
Interest.
And that's a good album.
It is.
That's a good album. And we had to change our address so they could find us to send us.
I can't. Yes, indeed. Well, all right. So let's go ahead and we got a few minutes before we go to break. Let's go ahead and dig in real fast of what we were going. Oh, I'm sorry. You had your. You want to talk about the Peanuts? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
What about the Peanuts?
Yeah, what's your favorite Christmas album?
Charlie Brown's soundtrack.
Yes,
I've been listening to that lately a lot. I think it's because of the jazz format of it all.
Yes,
from
Vince Carl. Yeah, that's a very good album too. I mean, it really is. It's just good, and it's kind of good all year round, in and of itself. But it's a very good album, very, very good. One thing about Christmas music, I think that for as many people have introduced their versions of songs and things like that, it's always good to have that. Now, speaking of new people, not new people, but somewhat new, Cher stepping out with her DJ Play Me a Christmas Song. That actually has gone to
I like it.
Cher. I like it too. It's up, it's fun, and I'm like, okay, Cher, she's showing you what she can do. What, 74 now? Yeah, 74.
Yeah.
She's showing,
Mariah says she's the only queen of Christmas. Nobody else. That's it.
The only time Miss Brenda Lee's fan base that Miss Brenda Lee's fan base is going to hell and back, trying to capture that for Miss Brenda now.
Well, yeah. Now Brenda Lee, now mentioning that as well. She finally got the #1 spot this past week with "Rocking Around the Christmas Tree." 65 years ago, the song was recorded.
Yeah, it was.
So that's even exciting for her, and thank goodness she's still around to be able to witness that. So that's even good. So, but it says a lot, and to me, then we're going to break. To me, I think that those that are really listening to the music now, I think that maybe a lot of this is getting introduced to another generation or partial
Andy
generation.
Williams. Andy Williams. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
So I think that what we're seeing now with all this music, making a resurgence in the way that it is, people are paying attention. People are wanting something.
Everybody's tired of this demonic sound that's coming out these days. This sound that's coming out is really not even. I don't know what to call it now.
Yeah, before you wrap, a shameless plug, because my wife put out her first Christmas album, and she's got 7 songs out on it. And covered her dad Someday at Christmas, but she wrote some beautiful songs, including one called The Truce, about in 1912 during World War I, when both sides put down their weapons and exchanged Christmas gifts. Oh,
that was
24 hours. It's a wonderful story. And she wrote a song about it. And there's been some movies about it and stuff like that. And both sides put down their weapons. They quit firing at each other, and they broke bread. They ate together. And then 24 hours later, they went back to killing each other. But
wow. So that proves my theory again.
Stopped a second.
Right. You know, that proves my theory. November 1st, January 12th. So, but anyway, we got a quick break, and we will be right back, and we're going to dig into some hot topics tonight with the fellas. All right. So we'll be right back after the break. What's that?
It's my wife's song.
Oh.
I want to be. It's whispering that hope is real. It tells me to believe in the love around. It's a peaceful sound when dreams appear. Christmas time is finally just
I don't want to take up any more time. I just want you to hear her lovely.
Thank you for that. And send us the
Apple Music. Just look up Lisa Dawn Miller Apple Music Christmas album.
Okay, so we'll play a segment of that next week on the show. So then we'll get a better.
And if you can't get it, then you need to mail Apple your address, a fake address, and then they'll let you hear it.
A mess.
Oh, a fake address. So you know.
A mess.
You have to change. That was for you, Parnell.
All right. So let's begin a little bit. I know we were doing our meeting. We had a little, not really controversial conversation, but we kind of brought out some different things. But first of all, before we get into the controversial side, we do want to pay homage to our I think an iconic, regardless of how you look at it, he was still iconic in Hollywood, which is Norman Lear. He transitioned this week at 101. Okay. Long time on the planet, long time on the planet, and was very functional and things. So I think it's just in his transition, they said it was just time to go.
Well, he was 101 years old. He was 1 foot out the grave. But I hate to say it like that now, but he lived his life.
Right.
But you know who I'm shocked, and we're gonna go back to Norman Lear. I'm shocked because Ryan O'Neal, he passed yesterday. He was only 82 years old.
Right, exactly.
So it's like it's this time of the year that but still though, that was a big shocker for me,
right?
Ryan O'Neal. But going back to Norman Lear, 101 years old. Right. That's big. That's life.
Huh?
That's life.
Yeah. Well, it is. I mean, I hope to get that part. I put it in universe. I said I want 105. So then I'll negotiate every 6 months thereafter. So, but anyway, but back to his, his I think iconic resume that has been throughout the 70s and what these great shows that he fathered, at that. I mean, from All in the Family, Good Times, Maude, Facts of Life,
the Jefferson. The Jefferson
son, and all these, and one thing I can say, then there's of course some controversial conversation around different aspects of that, which we'll kind of dig into a little bit, is that I do appreciate the fact that he allowed Black actors to get in front of network television. At a time when it was very not the opportunity wasn't greatly there. So getting them employed and really recognizing the name. Now, of course, there's some controversy behind that. It is in everything, which we'll explore in just a second. But I do want to pay homage to him for being able to do that and writing those shows, or at least getting the opportunity to present those shows to the studios that would actually pick them up, and make them a long running stead. And of course, the Jeffersons, number one long range stead, almost 10 years. As far as the Jeffersons being on, I think they even did further than All in the Family. Actually,
well, I like Good Times. So, I like Good Times. I grew up on Good Times and Sanford and Son. That was two of the.
Oh yeah, Sanford and Son.
I didn't get into Maude like that. I mean, who was do anybody have a favorite Norman Lear show? I mean, what did y'all?
Mine was always the Sanford and Sons was always it.
I liked all of them pretty much. I mean, all in the Family was great. I mean, because it was like, yes, Archie was racist, but there was something about him that you was just like, oh my goodness. Yeah. It just
laugh. I mean, it's one of those things, because sometimes I think the greatest weapon is to laugh at a problematic person, because you just realize they're so ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah.
And for the point of All in the Family, I mean, again, I watched it with my parents, and things like that. And it was actually the shocking factor for Archie Bunker was that he said what he wanted to say, and of course at that time in network television, it was like you grab pearls and choke them, did he actually say that? So I think that made you want to tune in a lot to see what he was going to say, from every show from that point. My favorite typically was the Jeffersons, I think, and back when I was formerly, I got opportunity to go to a few of the Jeffersons taping, which, speaking of which, as an actor and as a group of actors, oh my gosh, them and the Golden Girls, extremely professional. I mean, you literally would go in and they knew their lines, they knew their work, they knew their. I mean, the half-hour show, you're in and out, and maybe an hour tops. Hour and 15 minutes. They'd go through. It was done, boom, and then moving on. Now there were other shows which normally did, which is Different Strokes. Yeah. Oh my God! I went to Different Strokes tape and sat there for 7 hours. They still didn't get it right. But anyway, Sandy, what was your favorite?
It just as you're growing up and you want to be an actor or performer and you see all the different versions. And I mean, for me, I knew a lot of these people on these shows. I mean, I still know Jimmy Walker. I mean, that launched him. I remember going to the Comedy Store and that thing started, and he was the hottest thing going, Dynamite and stuff like that. And I used to hang out with Red Fox backstage in Las Vegas, and Red had a Coke spoon hanging from his neck, and he'd say, now, come on in the dressing room. He said, now what, I'm going to do a little something to prepare for the show, and I don't want you don't do this, but I do it. It's okay if I do it, but I never want to know you doing it. And Red was, Red was an enigma. And people forget when I see these lists come out of the funniest comedians, and they're very contemporary, and they don't want to go back in time because the young people making these lists don't remember who started it. But Red Fox was a pioneer. Absolutely. He was before Cosby, and then you go back to Red Fox and Dick Gregory and people like that, and
Eddie Rochester and Eddie Cantor and all these people.
Absolutely, and it's hard to go back to everybody when you're younger and you never saw them. And of course, in today's world where we've got YouTube and you can pull up anybody, but you can't go back and pull up some of those icons or stuff where the quality isn't good, so you don't appreciate it. Or you go, well, I don't get that joke wasn't funny. Well, they weren't what they were, but Red was outrageous in his time and said things that nobody was prepared to hear. And when they put him on network television, he came from a black act working in black clubs to an American icon on television. So, and he dragged along Damon Wilson with him and the other people. It was almost like a modern day, Jackie Gleason show, The Honeymooners. Set into Junkyard and stuff like that. So you've got pioneers and all this discussion about this guy, and I forgot his name. We were talking about that, that he wrote some of the stuff. And
what's
his name?
Eric.
I can't. We'll find it.
We're gonna find it too because.
Okay, so the point is I've done some research since then, and yes, there was a lawsuit where he settled for $1 million, but then they said he didn't get a lot of work after that, but he also was a victim to his own circumstances where he got into drugs and alcohol and stuff like that. So when he tells you he's homeless, it's not because he didn't have any work and someone stole everything from him and he had to go live in a shopping cart somewhere. It's he may not have been paid everything he was supposed to be paid, but there was a lawsuit. He did get $1 million and he did write these shows, but then he took his money and spent it on drugs and alcohol, and that's why he ended up homeless. So, and all the people that have come out supporting Norman, saying he helped me, he helped me, he helped me, he helped me, black, white artists, across the board going, he was very influential in my career. So, his
name was Eric Monti. Eric Monti.
Thank you. Eric Monti certainly was involved. He was part of it. They say he was a writer and came up with stuff, but it's not that Norman Lear stole everything from Eric Monti. He was part of the team and maybe didn't get all the credit or the money he deserved. But he also, when the end of the story is, well, he's homeless, no, he wasn't completely screwed over. He was just a little screwed over.
But you know what's so funny? And I'm going to go back to Red Fox. You remember that bit about Elizabeth, I'm coming to see you off the show of Sanford and Son? You know what's so funny? The way he died, he was doing his last sitcom. It was a show in the 90s with Della Reese in it. And he died, I believe, I think he died on the set. And I think he fell to the ground and he said something almost similar to what bit on Sanford and Son. And Della Reese was like, she was telling him to get up, stop playing, Brett, get up, stop playing. And he died.
Wow. Right, Sanford's going to go, I'm having the big one. I'm having the big one.
Yeah. They thought he was joking, but he really wasn't. But going back to Eric Monti, we're finding out right now after the strike, there are many people in situations right now that are financially not well off because of the residual situations. We're now learning about Terrence Howard. We're now learning about, even Billy Porter did an interview based on the fact that he's only getting a certain amount of residual, but checks. But the facts, this man, and we talked about this in the meeting. I said this. I said, he did Cooley High. That is a monumental staple within the African American film library, besides The Color Purple, besides Cabin in the Sky. Cooley High was a cultural milestone for us in that time period. And I'm surprised that anybody who knew him did not come and say, what's going on? Do you need the help? You know what I'm saying? But in this industry, I think in the entertainment industry, and I'm not trying to put everybody in the same bowl, but I feel like there's a situation of where there are cliques, where if there's somebody who is in need or in trouble, it just seems like everybody dispersed. It didn't make sense for this man to go out like Sandy said, homeless, even though he had he had gotten his money from Norman Lear. I think there was something else besides that had happened. I'm not going to get into too much controversy because we don't know allegedly what happened behind the scenes. But I think there should have been a moment within I feel like the African American film community to pull him and say, listen, what is going on? Those who knew of him knew of what he had did during those years, because there was Norman Lear shows were more like the Freed Unit at MGM. It was a community. Everybody knew everybody. Yeah, everybody had to know everybody, but to each his own.
But there's the thing that sometimes folks don't know what's going on in people's lives because people hide it well, and they because they don't want folks to know that they're struggling, that they're going through something. So it's like, you doing all right? Oh yeah, man, everything's good. I'm having a little trouble here, but it's the same old, man. I'm just making it. And then there are those folks that even if they're struggling, you can't save nobody who don't want to be saved.
True.
That's true. You're right.
Well,
you're right.
And I'm
truth behind the truth.
Truth behind the truth. Unfortunately, or fortunately, in knowing that, but the drug habit has been such a thing that has been rampant through this industry forever and a day. You got forever and a day. You know, people are not even being able to cope, you know, or just demands on their life. You know, they need the upper. And of course, we can go back as far as you know, as all of our fan, but of Judy Garland, you know, in terms of what happened with her, you know, during her earlier stay. And we're talking, you know, uppers and downers back in the 30s. I mean, in the 30s and 40s, 30s and 40s. You know, so you know, we have seen it, and I think that becomes more of an addictive practice. But we never hear about it, or nowadays until it's later,
and we don't understand it.
We don't understand
it. Yeah.
True,
well, even recently, Matthew Perry passing away. You know,
right? Exactly.
To find out the guy had big alcohol problems and drug problems. Even in the years he was shooting Friends, and you know, no one said anything, and they covered it up. And his friends were his friends, and didn't say, hey, you know, they didn't bust him or throw him off the set, or you know, they worked with him and hung in there. But yeah, there's a zillion stories like that.
Oh yeah,
right. You know, I mean, of course, we can go as far as Whitney Houston, you know, as well, and you know, what happened with her, you know, in terms of that. So you know, the exposure of the industry is very heavy. You know,
it is.
It's very heavy. You got to be very solid in your foundation as much as possible when you get introduced to it, be it acting, be it singing, be it theater, whatever the case may be, because these opportunities will come at you. Speaking of which, Hunter Biden, you know, I mean, this is I know it's kind of shifting our conversation. Thank you for putting it up. Kind of shifting our conversation, but even that alone, I mean, you know, you just don't know where people are, you know, in their walk, in their life, you know. Yes, yes, he's gotten into some things that he needs to be accountable for, which I think he's trying to take, you know, accountability for a lot of the decisions that he's made. But of course, the Republican Party doesn't want that to happen. I mean, they want to use this as a political ploy, you know, against his dad, you know, in terms of, you know, I don't know how you gonna do shit like that, but that is, you know, this is his own man. He created his own pile of crap, you know, but yet you want to tie his father into the crap that he piled. I mean, come on, really? Right. You know, but that's the stupidity that's coming out of the Republican
theater,
Party, you know, at this point, you know, in that. But anyway, so we got some more to dig into, but we're gonna go for a quick break, and then when we come back, we're gonna look at what we're gonna look at tonight. That's what we're gonna talk about tonight. The mental wellness, and that's kind of goes into what we were talking about, you know, and how that is still plaguing America in a big way, not just a small way, but a big way. And we're finding out now that the exposure and the conversation about it is better, but people are really just getting hit left and right. And again, drugs, all that type of things can be a factor in there. But we want to, you know, kind of bring in that. We also want to throw a catchword out there. Y'all remember the term "reading is fundamental"?
You better know.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that when we come back from break. All right, we'll see you in a minute. All right, and we are back, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Truth Behind the Truth tonight. Want to remind you about your support, okay? Your support with a reward, all right? Support with a reward, all right? You can definitely get the support and the reward by being a part of our contest, okay? You just simply send us 10 likes or 10 shares, okay, to The Truth Behind the Truth at Gmail, all right? And you will get your mug, all right? And you can support us financially, of course, with purchasing of your mug at $15.99, same email address, okay? And then you also have a way that you can contribute to us as well. Cash App, TTBTT Show. And then on Venmo, we are The Truth Behind the Truth. So any monetary support you'd like to contribute to us, we would love to take it, all right? Yes, indeed. So we're going to get back here. So I said tonight, we're going to dig into the reading is fundamental. We kind of throw some stuff at you about that. But one thing we do want to kind of touch on real fast is the mental wellness state in America and where it is right now. But there's one strong point about this. So the question had been out, and we discussed this in our production meeting. Where did all of the mental hospitals go? Okay. I'm serious. Where did all the mental hospitals go? I mean, because at one time you'd find one on every corner. No, I'm just kidding. But pretty much. But it's been a very serious thing. But as you see that they're not as plentiful as they were, so we have a rise in different things, as we mentioned earlier. Drug abuse. A lot of homelessness, a lot of mental homelessness. Not even all homelessness on mental issues. That's a different tier within in and of itself, especially here in LA. However, one of the things that we found in the possibility of the research is that during the Reagan administration, he eliminated the funding that was available for, mental hospitals. So that answers the question, if you guys had wondering why you're not seeing the possibilities of helping people get the treatment that they need and put them in a better, because the funding had been taken away. And again, a Republican, not throwing in shade, a Republican decided that it was not budgetable to have those things available, for the common man that may have needed the problems. Henceforth, now we see all of these mass shootings, which paying homage to the last two that we just seen this past week. Sending a heart full of comfort to those families that have experienced the transitioning of loved ones through this heinous opportunities that people are taking. But I'm going to interrupt. Go ahead.
Well, but I always thought of that as a progressive idea, not a conservative idea because Reagan signed the Lanterman Patrice Short Act in 1967, which nearly ended the practice of institutionalizing patients against their will when he was governor in California. That really threw me a loop, because I kept saying to myself, since we moved here, I said, why is there any organizations out here, trying to get this under control? Where are the places for the rehabilitation centers? Why is it that there are no? Because now we are in a situation where they're trying to house the homeless out here. They're trying to find them places to stay and to live, but these folks don't want to live in these places. Right, They don't even want a roof over their head, and it's not because it's the fact that I don't want to believe that they don't want to live in a nice situation. I don't think they comprehend what's going on around them.
Right.
But I think they just don't want to be controlled. They don't want to follow the rules.
But do they know what control is when you're mentally ill?
No.
I mean, that's true.
I think that it's a good point of being controlled or whatever. When you have been in that state of being for so long, and majority of people have been on the street for an excessive amount of time. We're just seeing the different phases of this. But anytime there's let me stop. Paperclip that. There was a person I had a conversation with about this very same situation. And she worked, and she still works in the area here in LA to try to help people get transitioned, off of a situation like that. But she told me this quick story real fast. She said that she had targeted a specific woman. This woman she was on the street with her and her kids, apparently. So what had happened is that they coached her. They got her off the street, got her kids off the street. She had been living on the street for about almost 2.5 years, with no support or whatever. Well, they went back to do a welfare check after they got her off of the street and everything. Well, they went into the home that they finally put her into. They said it was the most disgusting place ever. Okay. And, they went in and they said, what happened? We're taking you off the street, we're giving up. And then to the degree that they said that there was this building, it was so bad that they saw movement in the lights, over the kitchen area, and they opened it up and it just poured out roaches, okay. And very, very, and so in other words, so just kind of with how this apartment home became to a place of filth. Well, the part that struck me, so she set the lady down and she said, "Tell me what happened. We got you off the street. Why is your home looking like this?" And she said, "I lived on the street for 2.5 years. I don't know what to do when I have a place like this. All I know is to have this in my environment."
Wow.
I was like, wow.
Wow.
Wow. So that made her, the health source said that from that point forward, what they need to incorporate is a rebuilding process, to help people
Some people need it.
To come from that, because they just can't go from having, this trash all around them, which we see quite often here in LA, to being in a clean environment, because they're used to eating and moving and doing all of these things with that environment. So that's all they know. So anyway,
God forbid if Trump gets back into office, he might discover the sterilization program, and we might, that's one thing people don't understand, especially in this country. In other countries, this don't even exist, because I can tell you, probably in China or Venezuela or wherever you might want to go and want to see this, they don't believe in mental illness, because what it deems to them is something is wrong with you, and we need to eradicate you and your offspring. Go ahead, Charles. You got something to say?
Yeah, let me just add a little bit in there. When we look at this experiment, which is called democracy, we want to have a lot of rights and freedoms, and with those come consequences. There always is a double-edged sword.
Right.
Like, for instance, the HIPAA Act, which is the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act of '96, which entitled folks to the privacy of their health, which a lot of people felt that nobody should know I'm mentally disturbed. No one should know I'm going through bipolarism or anything. People felt that their health and their private matters should be their own. And then they found out that wasn't really helping, because that was letting a lot of mental folks get up out of the institutions and be like, well, that's my right. I want to be crazy, I can be crazy. You can't make me stay where I don't want to be. And so that allowed them to come out and do what they needed to do, along with the defunding of it. But then in 2000, they gave the HIPAA rules. It's like 5 rules that explain how this law is supposed to work and who it's supposed to protect. The one thing that we lose sight of is, like Dylan said, in other countries, this isn't allowed. We get so many people hating on America, and I'm not raising the flag like I'm a patriot, but my thing is, we have to understand that there are consequences and repercussions that come along with everything. And no matter what you think you're doing good, it can always be turned to bad. So you just have to understand that until we all sit down together, and this quote by Morgan Freeman says it best.
Yes,
it says, just because I disagree with you does not mean that I hate you. We need to relearn that in our society, and that is so true. We don't take the time to sit down and listen to each other. Once we have odds over a discussion, we dig in. It's like football. We get down on the line and ready in the 3-point stance. Instead of taking the time to hear it and understand what that point may be, we just put on our blinders and we negate everything after the point that is in our.
But that's becoming, that's like an everyday practice at this particular point in time, because you disagree with someone, and they it becomes more than what is necessary. At the end of the day, Sandy, go ahead and make your point about that.
Well, I'm listening, and I just want to say I absolutely disagree with Charles, and I hate you. Morgan Freeman is such a wonderful actor, and there's a thing on Instagram with him now talking about, when you ask God for something, when you ask God for opportunity, or does he give it to you, or does he give you a chance for you to get it?
Okay.
And it's a very different way of looking at it. And I mean, Morgan, everything he does is so well done, and he's so well spoken, and his opinions, and I hope he makes an impact when he speaks and people listen and go, wow, this guy, he's lived a long life. He's been through everything. He didn't have success until later in his career. Right. And he's made the most of it. And yet he's benevolent and kind and happy and wants to help others. And, that's all you can ask for in life. When you meet those kind of people, they're very inspirational.
Right.
And I was kidding, Charles. I actually agree with you. Until January 12th, and then I won't.
But you know what? Social media has now made it more of an entertainment commodity to be mentally ill. You have people now who are smashing and grabbing. You have people who are in the public shouting and doing crazy stuff. You have people in the airport fighting, even on airplanes, they're fighting. You got people who just don't seem to can get themselves under control right now. Because now people are pulling out their phones and now it's like, oh, this is what's going on. And, we're doing this for TikTok and all this other. It's just so much craziness right now in our society. And, and people want to make it a homeless thing, but you got people in mansions who are driving around in Range Rovers, who go into places and they're just wondering. And that is some form of mental illness right there. I worked in Hollywood. I worked in a store in North Cahuenga, right down the street from Capitol Records. The saddest thing to see were people who are well off just wondering, just in a daze. So, it's just so funny, it's just nowadays it's now become nothing but entertainment to some people to see people walking down the street naked or just going off on somebody. It's just, it's really, I think society has now become a ghetto these days. I don't like to say the world is becoming
chaos is king. Chaos is king. Reality shows have shown us that chaos is king. We want to find an escape, so we want to look at everyone else's misery to understand why. Well, not even why. It's just that so somebody's worse off than I am, and we take that stuff and we turn it. You see that the reality stars now are suing for their rights to the media because they were poorly paid. They were basically pimped out for society to use them as punching bags. Because a lot of those folks can't even walk the street without people attacking them because they see them on those reality shows and they think, I need to fight you. You're not that you're that person on the TV. And it's
Isn't that crazy?
And the voyeurism is even further. People want to see inside everybody else's stuff instead of looking at, as we always say, instead of looking in the mirror and saying what they need to change. They want to look out the window and point at everybody else walking on the street.
Darnell?
It's very interesting that you say this because, Dylan, one of the things that's happened, and everything you said is spot on. The difference is that when we have an incident on a plane is now there's social media, so it gets recorded and makes its way out there. Those things used to happen years ago, but we didn't know about them. I don't think there's any more stuff happening. I think it's the same amount of stuff. It's just this stuff gets out because everybody pulls out their phone and puts it out there. And then we gravitate to that. And it's very easy to sit here going, we're all crazy. We're not all crazy. Most of us are sane. Most of America is fine. Even the Trump supporters, the fact that they believe in Trump, they're decent people aside from that.
Aside from being insane.
The people that did January 6th was, 700 or 800 people, 1,000, 1,200 people. It wasn't 2 million people. So, that's one of the things. And then I was watching something the other night and it dawns on me, one of the things that seems where our society has turned and has become very Trumpish, or where the Trump people are coming forward, is there is a show now, it's on 20 or 25 years, Survivor. Have you ever seen this? One of those reality shows. And I remember when it first came on and I was watching, I think I'd heard about it, and I had a radio show and they asked me to interview this woman who won it. And I interviewed her and I thought she was disgusting. And then the next year I watched some of the episodes and I go, this whole show is about lies, deception, cheating, backstabbing, doing anything you can to elevate yourself at the expense of everybody else. And then you're applauded for, he played the game so well. I go, is that what we want to teach our children? To play the game well, you have to cheat and lie and steal from the other people that you're going, JB and Dylan, you guys are best friends, but you go on this show, JB says, Dylan, I'm going to do this for you. Meanwhile, he comes over to me and says, when Dylan's not looking, let's get him. And then you get rid of your competition that way, and eventually you're looking to win the game. And I go, that's not what true competition is. True competition is in sports where there's rules and people play by the game, and you go, who had the most talent, who's the best coached, who had the best opportunity, and who worked and wanted it the most, not who screwed the other team and cheated.
True. Before you go, Darnell, I just want to make that Ian. I want to respond to that comment. No offense, but it's not the world. The world is doing what the world's been doing from the very beginning. Right. It's protecting itself. Humanity is going through hell in a handbasket because of the fact that humanity, man itself, is controlling the narrative. Yeah. Right. The world is going to do what the world has been doing, growing, destroying, doing whatever it wants to do. But it's humanity that controls narrative. Go ahead, Darnell.
And I think, and to piggyback out for that, I think what they're doing now, the people are just now trying to fight back.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all. They're just trying to fight back. They're trying to come out of the matrix, per se.
And that's a good point. I know we got to go to break. But and here's the thing and I think this kind of pulls everything that everybody is saying is that you guys remember the Netflix show Squid Game, right?
Oh, Lord.
Did you ever see the thing? So what they have done now is made it a live reality for people to be able to do. So now it's become this whole, scenario of killing your next one. The only thing that they're not allowed to do yet is to kill each other on that show. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They can do almost everything they want to a person to be able to win this pot of gold. But if things keep going the way that they are in the realm of humanity, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Squid Game mentality infusing us. Let's talk about that when we come back from break. Okay, we'll be right back after.
All righty.
All right, and we are back, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to The Truth Behind the Truth tonight. Live in discussion as usual. All right, let's go ahead and dig into the Squid Game moment here. So, as I said, I don't know if you guys had been watching, audience, if you've been watching Squid Game or watched the first season of it. It still is on Netflix, and now they have introduced the actual Squid Game itself, okay, as a competition. It just ended, and, they went through some of the very same, I don't know, challenges, I guess you'd say, that they did on the in the movie or the episodic, part of it. But so that, and when I saw that, I was like, wow, this is like really pushing the narrative here, and like you said, Sandy, about Survivor was kind of in that, and a lot of these challenge shows are at that point.
Naked and afraid.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh yeah, okay. Well, some people need to be afraid if they're naked. All right, so I think
that's another situation.
It is, but in and of itself. So you have to really think about this. Is that where are we going with these competitions? I mean, at the end of the day, and the likelihood of coming down to the person losing their life in a competition is just around the corner. I mean, at the end of the day, because we're allowing the pathway for it to happen, to get more media sensation, to be in front of a camera, to get remembered by the heinous thing that I do or have done, And then I think this kind of goes hand in hand with these mass shootings. I think these people have this allegiance in themselves to be a vigilante or referred back to it, even whether they died or whatever the case may be. Their name will go down in history as being something that created a problem in humanity. It's right there, Jeffrey Dahmer and all the rest of them. Yeah, we know they're heinous. We know that all of that, but I think maybe in their minds, where it goes back into the mental wellness part, they think that if they do these things, that they're going to be remembered. It's very sad that you don't have the type of confidence in your own self that you have to resort to doing this type of these type of activities to get your name known. At the end of the day.
Well, I just feel like
that's crazy
in this country, and especially in the culture of the United States, we have a tendency to belittle other people's issues. And I can make this as an example. We've been having the writer's strike, actors strike, whatever strike, and you have ordinary Americans saying, why are y'all so busy complaining? Why don't you just go get a job? Well, that is their job. Right. You wouldn't be entertained every night without them doing their job. And the saddest thing about it is that is the mindset of why it's hard for people in this country and in some places within the Rust Belt, the Bible Belt, whatever belt you come from, to go get help. Because you have people all around you, could be family, could be employee, could be church, could be synagogue, wherever you come from. They're always telling you, what you have is a demonic spirit, and you just need to either pray it away or go drink it away, or do whatever you need to do. Just suppress it.
I'm going to wrap it up in one big word: accountability. Until you are able to look at yourself and understand the shortcomings that you put forth and how they affect others, we will never have a change.
Absolutely.
And you have to look in the mirror. You can't keep looking at everybody else. You have to look at yourself.
That's right.
I think everybody needs traumatic therapy, trauma therapy. Because Fantasia brought this up about her doing her character analysis with Celie. She was going, well, no, it wasn't that, but still though, trauma therapy is about going back into the past and finding some issues that happened during your childhood and you finding a way to get over it and not suppress it, but to find a way to get over it and to deal with it. But I think America needs that. I think that needs to be the situation. Because everybody in their childhood has had something happen to them, and for many years we have suppressed it. And at the end of the day, when we in our funk or whatever depression that we go through, and anxiety, we still bring that up. Right.
Well,
everybody just like to live in denial, love.
Well, true. Yeah. Absolutely. All points, considered right here. Number one, Charles, I appreciate you saying it because that's my number one thing. Okay. And I know that some of you all will debate me on the whole aspect, but I don't care because this is where I stand on it and, my philosophy behind it. And, but accountability and responsibility is the key factors. Okay. The same thing that goes into what we consider in the spiritual realm, not in the Christian realm or whatever realm, that sin and what you do and all this other type of stuff, and all these little labels and everything we put out here on everybody. It boils down to accountability and responsibility. If you're accountable for your action and responsible, you don't have to worry about doing the things that everyone wants to list out. Okay. You're not killing, you're not stealing, you're not cheating, you're not doing, and all these other type of things. Now, outside of that, if you got some mental issues, then deal with them. But let's stop telling people they feel with a demon. Okay, they ain't got nothing to do with it. All right, at the end of the day, and probably you, the demon, probably telling people that at the end of the day, because the demon gonna recognize the demon if it's the demon in the first place. All right, I know y'all ain't gonna like it, but I'm telling you the truth behind the truth. All right, so look. If you don't like it, save it for another show. I'll take your comments then, and we can talk about it. I'll still love you at the end. All right, but anyway, we got it ready to wrap it up here. We're going over it. I know we went over time. Anyway, love you guys. We do hope that you have gained something from tonight's show, well, as usual, as we bring, because all we want you to do is to be the happy, healthy, whole, authentic, and self that you have been created to be. Now, it may take different challenges to get you through that and figure out who you are, but that's what those challenges are out there for.
And please go seek therapy if you need it.
Exactly.
Please go do it for yourself and for your family, just for yourself.
Exactly.
Like do it for yourself.
Exactly. Like we said tonight, you're kind of centering this around reading is fundamental. Getting help is fundamental. Okay. to where you go. All right. Love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Get ready to keep selling that holiday season that we're in, because the 12th is coming up pretty quick.
Yes, it is.
It is.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Have a great night. Thanks for tuning into the what? The truth.
The truth behind the truth.
Bye-bye.